just hung up a call, and he's hung up a call 5 seconds after his show's supposed to start, and he's still on the button. Any Ali, you impressed with that? Yeah, I'm on the button, and I'm joined, aptly joined, probably joined, adequately joined, sufficiently joined by my co-host Sadat Akram. Sadat, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How we doing?
All right, alhamdulillah. How are you? What's happening?
Big day of sports. Big day of sports today.
Not a great day.
Big day of sports.
Not a great day.
Big day of sports today. Are we live on Facebook?
Yes, we're live.
We are live on Facebook. Have we got Rashid on the phone?
Oh, we've got Rashid on the phone.
Have we got Rashid on the phone?
Hello.
Oh, we've got Rashid on the phone. Assalamu alaikum, Rashid. Welcome to Salaam Sports. How we doing?
Oh, yeah, not too bad.
You sound a bit deflated, bruv.
Huh?
You sound a bit deflated. You and Sadat, you've walked in with like no wind in your sails.
Yeah, it's been a long morning.
Has it been a long way? Did you have an early start?
Pardon?
Did you have an early start?
Yes, I did indeed.
Well, okay, so absolutely we're going to be talking about the Cricket World Cup. It's been all over my timeline. It's been all over my Facebook, my WhatsApp. Everybody's been talking about it. My whole family got together for a World Cup final breakfast.
Really?
Yeah, World Cup final breakfast.
Well, I bet they're all disappointed afterwards.
Well, some of them were, some of them weren't. Some of them were, some of them weren't. So, yeah, it's yeah. Sadat, how do you feel?
Deflated.
Okay.
But, I mean, if you remember last week when you asked me, I said, yeah, head says England will win. When there were four in the team, India, England, Pakistan, New Zealand.
Okay.
Did great to get to the final. Superb the way they demolished New Zealand.
Yeah.
Who have been probably second best points-wise after India. But India's performances haven't been great. They've been scraping through. So them losing to England wasn't a big surprise in the manner they lost. Maybe have surprised a few people. But then there was critics say, well, that was just waiting to happen to India.
Well, I mean, forget India. Forget New Zealand.
Just from the semi-finals. And then it got to the semi-final. I think the problem is, and we said this, Pakistan, they're not quick out the blocks, are they? They want to take the time to just make sure they don't lose the game within the first 15 overs and then try something. And if it doesn't work out, well.
That's the issue, though. No. That's the issue. It's Pakistan's batting style needs to improve now. Whether the PSL will help that and all the rest of it, that remains to be seen. But just a quick observation is that ever since India created the IPL, they haven't won a T20 World Cup. And you think the IPL is the number one world league.
Why do you guys keep talking about India? India weren't playing
T20 and IPL is a big thing.
They weren't playing today. Let's talk about Pakistan. Let's talk about England. Let's talk about the match today. Let's not talk about
covering sports that we missed out all week. And the semi-final to the final was that.
All right, listen. We've had lots and lots of texts already. I'm not following that. You can read this text up on.
I've not
on
seen
Facebook.
the text. Which text have you
But
got?
no. So I just want to read this out, and this is where we'll jump to this straight away. So Jabeen Makbul,
Yes.
City Cricket Club
Yes.
chairperson.
Yep.
She text saying it was a competitive game. To be fair, Pakistan was short, maybe 25 runs. But it did appear to be a low-scoring ground. And do you see the size of those boundaries?
I think there were more than 25. I know if you say, they got it in the second last over, but obviously with the score you have.
Say again?
We were 35 runs short. We were 35 runs short.
I think
Our
40.
batting was down. However, Pakistan turned it into a competitive game. They fought till the end, basically.
Yes.
They took it as far as they could possibly. Because normally Pakistan either play brilliantly or they absolutely collapse and it's a huge, embarrassing failure.
Yeah,
Today,
and this is it. Yeah, so look, this is so Jabeen goes on to say, I'm glad that they made a proper match of it, taking it to the penultimate over. I think that was I was probably a bit lazy on England's part to take it to the penultimate.
You see the score, don't you? And you play accordingly, I suppose.
Had Afridi not been injured, let me just go on, sorry. Had Afridi not been injured, maybe could have had a different outcome. Now, do you guys buy that?
I didn't. Hands up. Obviously, I had the under
No, I
13s.
agree. No, I
Did he
agree.
bowl
I
his
think
4
35
overs?
runs,
So
35 more runs, and Afridi not being injured.
Did he
I
not
think
bowl
it
his
is-
full
No.
full
So I think
of his-
it was his final or penultimate over.
Yeah.
He came on because he damaged his knee whilst taking the catch for Brooks.
right.
And then, he kind of pulled out of his run up, and then he bowled one ball in that over, went for a dot, but then he had to be taken off. And then if the hard came on, that's the over where they went for 10 runs in the last two
16 or
balls.
so. Oh, right. 10 runs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mohammad Basharat is listening from Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum, Bashar Saab. He says, MashaAllah to the show. Bashar Saab is in Pakistan, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this just after we cover the cricket. He's the chief organizer of the only one of its kind that I'm aware of in Azad Kashmir, a 10-kilometer run. So
Wow.
he's set up from scratch a 10-kilometer run. It's the second year it's in operation. I think he started it last year, maybe the year before. Bashar, you might know, runs a number of runs here in the UK. He's a fantastic runner. He's got some great running times.
Yeah.
But he set up a run off scratch with prizes. The first prize is I think it was a motorbike, and second prize is 20,000 rupees. It's really good. And I've seen some of the videos, but we'll talk about that in a little while. Back to the World Cup. So just finishing off on Jabeen's message. Team Pakistan need to continue to focus on their batting, which has always been their Achilles heel, but there's hope for the future with Babar and Rizwan. They just need to add more players to this list. I remember the 92 World Cup.
Masood Shah's improved as the T20 World Cup went up. He's picked up a few runs in the last 2 or 3 games.
Okay.
He looks good. I agree. That has always been our problem. We've always had great bowlers, Pakistan.
Incredible bowlers.
Yeah, and the batting is always, mainly let us
Lacking.
down. Yeah, let
But
us
this
down.
is what I can't understand. And
But
maybe
there's
explain-
one team
Yeah.
you want to bowl and defend a low score. It's Pakistan. It's one team you want to bat, and if in a tight situation, it's England. So it was a good game. It was a really good game.
I think we're going to put this into context, right? Yes, Afridi was injured. He only bowled 2.1 overs, so he had literally 2 overs to bowl, and then he got injured with a catch. 35 more runs would have been different. And yes, we agree all of that. However, in the context of everything, right? Pakistan, it's a much younger squad, much younger team, far more higher ceiling. England,
How old is
far
Chachef
more far more experience, and the experience they have is absolutely amazing. You look at that England squad, right, and the plays that weren't there either. So you can't argue against England, not winning. If you think about it, England playing the IPL, they're playing the PSL, they're playing the 100. No other country has that sort of, because Indian players don't play in the PSL, Pakistani players aren't allowed to play in the IPL, right? So England have taken advantage, and they really are the supreme, masters of the white ball game. England
They are.
really
They are.
Great
absolutely.
history, aren't they?
They've-
They're the only
they've-
team to hold
they've-
50 overs World Cup and the T20 World Cup.
They've won this tournament.
No Arthur, no Wood, no Best.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying, right? So I think
No
they've won this tournament fairly comfortably, I'd say.
Ooh, I would say they'd have started off slow.
Yeah, they started
Lost
off
to
slow
Ireland.
and then won it quite comfortably in the end. Didn't really
Last
break
game.
a sweat in the semi-final. Didn't really break a sweat in the final. Their bowling is. They didn't really.
Yeah, there were a bit of worries in the final.
They genuinely they weren't. I mean, I was following it as a. Kind of like supporting both sides, but certainly happy if England won.
But it would have
And I
been
wasn't-
England's game to lose, given the low score. But I think Pakistan did the best that they could, given the
Pakistan
situation, and
made them work for it.
Made them work for it.
Yeah,
So they
but-
did sweat a bit.
Yeah, they won by 5 wickets and a whole over spare, and they would slowed up their run rate. They were 60 runs off 60 balls. They could have won it in like 5 overs from that
I'm not
point.
sure he tried
had
to
they
get
gone at
injured.
it. Yeah, but he did get injured. It's unfit, isn't it? This isn't a partisan thing. Pakistan were steamroller today, right? It is one of them things. But the thing I was going to say about Pakistan was, why is it that their batsmen struggle when in the nets they're facing the best bowling attack in the world? Their day-to-day training is against their own bowlers who are brilliant. So if you can face the Pakistan bowling threat, why can you not deliver on the world stage? I don't get that.
I'm sure I heard somewhere. I don't know which one of the big hitters was it, just if the card or the other one, who did hitting about 66s or 62 sixes in the nets, sort of thing. So, and they get the machine to do that. So obviously it's completely different.
So they face a machine rather than facing
Yeah,
Shane
and
Shafferty.
when you're bowling the nets, I can't see Shane Shafferty busting a gut as he would do in the game. In the nets, he's just getting his rhythm right and line length right, and then probably goes the extra mile, obviously, in the game itself. So it's a completely different game situation, atmosphere, everything involved when you're out there on the field. To the
So,
nets.
I mean, all the nets sessions that I've done, like with my own teammates, for example, you want to get them out. As a bowler, you want to get your batsmen out. You want them to know that you're a Don bowler. And the batsmen as well, when they face a world-class bowler in the nets, they can be like, right, I want to show him what I've got. I don't think they take... I mean, if they're bowling to stumps, I get it, yeah, line length. When they're bowling to a batsman, especially if, like Shaheen Shah Afridi bowling to Babar Azam, he's got to be thinking, right, you think you're all that. Let me clean you up. He must be thinking that.
He's probably thinking I'm a captain and
No, I don't know. Rashid, what do you think, man? Like and this is something like we talked about this, didn't we? We talked about like even like back in the which World Cup was it where we got absolutely humiliated in the final by Australia? 99. So we watched that together, didn't we? Do you remember? And throughout the whole of the 90s, the noughties,
90 or something.
Yeah.
That was a 50 over. Obviously,
yeah, they did well to get in the final, and they just got. I mean, Australia were very strong, but there was no match there. But what I'm saying is, like, why is it that Pakistan have never been known to be a really strong batting side ever historically? Since I can remember, I've never seen them.
Yeah, but then they're the one team that's been to the most semi-finals than any other nation.
They've had. When we had Anwar and
Because their bowlers are brilliant.
there was a time when we had Inzamam, Yunus Khan, and Mohammed Yusuf as well. 3, 4, 5. We were absolutely brilliant. But it's just you're right.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that.
We're not like India. We're not like India that historically are just superb batting side, always produce great batsmen. But Pakistan have not been, for whatever reason, have not been able to do that. And even now with our current openers, and then they're good and they're great, but I personally think we need to breaking up because the style of batting does not suit T20. The best T20 sides, they go at it. And the problem with India has been they've lost Shikhar Dhawan and they haven't been able to replace him. And then India's batting has digressed, whereas Pakistan hasn't improved.
Yeah.
They haven't got the batting lineup to do that attacking play like England.
India again.
India can fly out the track all the time. They don't anymore. It's England now they do that.
Yeah, but with the players that they got, I think Pakistan can't go at it hard because they don't have a great batting lineup. So they don't want to lose the game in the first.
That needs to develop. So why won't they look? For example, Shan Masood has come out of, he came in the 7-match series against England when they in Pakistan, right? And he's come out and he's batted really well. And he's actually an opener. And that Mohammad Harith opens up for his team in the PSL. My opinion would have said, break up. And I don't know, it's probably like, oh my God, how can you break up Rizwan and Babar? But I put Babar at 3, I put Rizwan slightly down the order as a finisher for Pakistan, and I would have opened up with Shan.
Yeah, but Babar could do that himself as a captain. He could have done that himself. And the thing that the criticism I have with the Pakistan openers is they don't know how to set a target. They can absolutely chase. And I think most teams can chase. Chasing is easier.
They don't win a power play. They will never win a power play. See, in a power play, right, of 6 overs, ideally you need to be like close to 70, 75 for 0, right, or 75 for 1.
Wow, that's I don't know, that's aggressive. I think isn't it easier to win?
Scorecards right 70. In the first 5, 6 overs, 70 runs.
I think Pakistan was 70 after 10, weren't they?
Yes, they were, but they had only lost 2 wickets.
Yeah, but don't you think?
And that's what Pakistan's problem is. They don't want to lose the wickets.
Don't you think, like, if you go in, you don't really know how favourable the pitch is going to be to the batsman, and you're playing in the power play. Your priority has got to be, okay, try and score 6+ and over, but don't lose a wicket. And then you can get beyond the first 5 overs, and then you can really go at it after that. And I appreciate power play, the fields in more scoring opportunities. But batting second, don't you just have that target after 5 overs? They were 35. We need to be 38, or we need to be 40, right? Don't you just think that automatically?
Yeah, you have. Yeah, that's just, I suppose, natural.
You've got to have an attacking mindset from the beginning. So even if you set a target at, you need to have that mindset. Look at luckily we can talk about England because we know a lot about England and how England's batting is, right?
Yeah.
You look at, they brought Hales back. They lost Ray. I mean, they brought, what's his name? Roy. They lost Roy to injury, right? Bairstow was out for injury, right? So then they got Butler at the top, and then they had what's his name, Hales. They've got players like Livingston. They've got people that play like Brooks.
I thought Brooks was decent. I've not really seen a lot of Brooks. Brooks was decent.
I think that going to the questions or to the comment, like you can see batting second, you can see the score. I think teams like England don't do it like that. I think maybe naturally, we probably in Pakistan will probably even do that. But I think teams like England would say, right, we're going to do it in 15 overs. So let's imagine it's not a 20-over match; it's a 15-over match.
Yeah.
England have always had that mindset, and that's what allowed them to do so well. Win, an ODI World Cup, and now win the T20. World Cup. And they call it Bazball or whatever they call it, right? You know, we're just going to keep going at it hard. We don't care.
Yeah, they do that in the tests as well now. It's a really interesting one.
But they bat so deep, the team like England.
We've had it's Ibrar Chaudhry saying Salaam Janab. Salaam Janab's to it's Ibrar Chaudhry. If anybody wants to get their comments in, particularly on the match, England versus Pakistan World Cup T20 final, please do call in. We'd love to take your call. It's 01733 602 133. That's 01733 602 133.
So ideally,
Go on.
and I don't want to go back to India all the time, ideally Pakistan would have wanted that 168 that India got, or 165 in the semi-final,
Yeah.
and then they would have defended that against England as well.
Yes, I think. I mean, what did they score today? 137.
130. I think it was 131 to win.
No, it was 137 in Pakistan scored.
137. Yeah.
Had we Pakistan got another 35 runs, yes. I'm not saying that Pakistan would have 100%, but England would have.
It would have been squeaky bum time.
I think. Yeah. I think. I mean, England are that good. I think England are that good batting that they could have potentially, against most teams, chased down 170.
Pakistan's bowling.
This is
That's the
Pakistan,
thing.
exactly.
Exactly.
So there is that.
England also had a bit of luck today. You look how Naseem Shah bowled, right?
Oh, he was
That
brilliant.
Test cricket. Ben Stokes was just shaking his head and laughing.
Because how am I supposed to touch this ball?
Yeah, no, you're right. If Pakistan had an extra 35 runs, yeah, and if Shaheen Afridi didn't get injured, and if Naseem was on his day, and a few of the England batsmen failed, and Curran wasn't amazing, and Adil Rashid
That's
was
too
amazing,
many hands.
then
That's
I
too many hands
think
there. I'm
Pakistan
sorry.
could
Let's
have
just say
potentially
that.
won today. It was a close game. It potentially could have.
Listen, Pakistan did brilliant and excellently to get to the final.
Look, if you score more goals than your opponent, more often than not you win the game. What is it?
When do you not?
Michael Owen. That's what he said. Yeah, he's the thing is, if you don't concede, then all you got to do is score one goal and then you win the game. And he was like, no, really?
I will say though this is, I mean, the future for the next 3-4 years for Pakistan cricket is much better than any other country in the world.
Yeah, let's agree with that. Listen, let's just go on to this 10-kilometer run. I do want to talk about this. So, first of its kind, run for the second year. It's an event in. Are you from Azad Kashmir?
No.
Where are you from?
I am from a place near Jhelum called Khariya.
Khariya, yeah, I know Khariya. Yeah, Jhelum. Jhelum's not too far.
Khariya and Jhelum's about 40 minutes, I think, about 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, Jhelum's about 2 hours from where I am, and that I'm in Kashmir proper. Rashid, where are you from Pakistan?
Karachi.
That's miles.
Karachi, oh
that's
my
a
God.
that's a drive and a flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, Karachi's far, man, far. But anyway, so there's this fella, Mohammed Basharat, his name is. You know him, innit, from Hot Pot.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's done a bit of running randomly. I think he's just come across running. He did the Great Eastern Run, and he had like this amazing time. It was ridiculous. He was in the top quartile for runners. He was at his first run. All of a sudden, he's taken into it. He's got some really, really good runs. He's much quicker. He does like half marathon in an hour and a half or something stupid, right?
Wow.
And he's set up a run in Pakistan, in Parai. Parai is the place, the name of the place.
Right.
Yep, and really, really well organized. So I was saying to you, I was watching some of the videos. They've got a cameraman who's sticking his head out from the car sunroof, as you do, with the car driving ahead of the pack. And literally no health and safety. This is Pakistan, right? You do what you want. But, you know, a guy with a megaphone, literally a timer. The field was maybe about, I feel like it was about 60 or 70 runners, which is, can you imagine people in Pakistan jogging?
Yeah.
All of them wearing the kit, so they all like dressed to run 10K run. The winning time was around 40 minutes. I think it was like 40 minutes and a few seconds.
10K run. So what route did he do? Or did he just do, like you said, around the field? Or
No, not round a field. No, this was on roads.
On roads?
It's a proper road run, yeah.
Pakistan?
Pakistan, proper road run.
Wow.
Yeah, cars struggle on those roads, but these boys... So 10K in 40 minutes. I haven't got the accurate time. It's 40 minutes something. And the winner was a guy named Arslan Raja from Dadial. So he wins a motorbike. I love that. I love the fact that the first prize is a motorbike. Second
Seems
prize
to be the best prize to give away. Every time I see these shows, anything, it's like, yeah, it's the motorbike.
Yeah. Sorry, say that again, Rashid.
What time of the day was the run and what was the humidity like?
So, because, I mean, Praia is quite mountainous and we're in November now. So even when it's sunny, it's not hot. It's not. Yeah, it's warm. So if you're running in the middle of the day, you're probably running at about 18 to 20 degrees. So it's warm. But yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I think it was an early morning start. I think it was like an 8 a.m. start or something like that. But I couldn't tell you exactly. But yeah, fairly good turnout. It's one of these runs that I actually want to do. I want to do that. I mean, it's awful because it's uphill, downhill. Because it's all mountainous, right? So it's all up and down. But yeah, fantastic achievement. Really, really proud of the guys in Parai, and obviously Mohammed Basharat. He's one of our own. Done a fantastic job, and genuinely inspires a lot of people, particularly from that part of the country where health and fitness, like literally, is non-existent.
No.
There. You know, there's no gyms, so there's no treadmills. People, I mean, you're only out walking if you can't afford a car. It's looked down upon. Like walking in those parts of the country is looked down upon because it's like, well, why aren't you in a car? Why aren't you? What do you mean? Wow. It's the kind of life you live there, man. You flipping, you're in a car. Yeah, you got a driver. You chauffeur driven when you go to Pakistan. I know how you live there, bro. So yeah, really, really impressed. Really proud of you guys. Well done, and keep up the great work.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Coming back to the cricket then. Best thing, the only thing that Pakistan have got to look forward to is
Next World Cup.
The One Day World Cup in India. Is it in India?
Yeah, it's in October, November next year.
So yeah, same time this time next year. One Day World Cup.
How do you think they'll get well on the? How do you think they'll do on the 50-50 World Cup?
Also, atmosphere magnified by 100.
Yeah, Rashid. Sadat wants to know how you think they'll do in the One Day World Cup.
Who knows? I mean, because it's not. To be honest, it will be about pressure. It'll be about the stress. And it will. I mean, will the games even be allowed to be played? Will Pakistan start winning certain games? Will the crowds over there start rioting?
Oh, come on!
No,
come on! There's not going to be riots, man. What's wrong with you?
Bit of a tume and oi oi and alu shouts, but nothing else.
Yeah, there'll be handbags, but there's no riots, man. Come on.
I don't think Pakistan can last the 50 over. I think 2020 is their best game.
I'm not talking about players among themselves. I'm talking about the crowd.
So we're talking about the crowd as well. Like they're not gonna. Come on, man. They'll have security there. They're gonna make sure people don't run onto the pitch. Yeah, it's gonna be volatile atmosphere.
But it's not gonna be. A lot of it is all media hype. I think if India were to come to Pakistan, there would be no problem, and if Pakistan would go to India, there'll be no problem. I think amount of times you hear stories from each players.
Trust me, you're wrong about that.
No, the stories you hear from players when they visit each other countries, how they're welcomed.
Firstly. Pakistani players aren't allowed to play in the IPL. Okay, India does not allow them. So there's that, and there's so much hatred towards Muslims.
Yeah, but that's a government level decision. That's not the sporting decision. Like, they won't play. It's the government won't let them.
Question, Rashid. Do the IPL allow players from Afghanistan or Bangladesh to play?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
So it's just Pakistanis.
Yeah.
It's Pakistan. Yeah, it's politics.
So that's not Islamophobic, that's just anti-Pakistan.
Yeah, it's because of the political issues that the two countries have. It's a government level. I think the people themselves, okay, yes, you can have a bad bunch in certain areas or whatever, but generally speaking, I think Pakistan, the public in Pakistan are not so much anti-India and anti-India's India, not so much anti-Pakistan as much as the government and media make it out to be. So
the average person on the street, they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
No, there's elements, isn't there? There's elements of people that are a little bit extreme, but you would say they're in the minority. Yeah. I'd agree with that. I'd say they are in the minority. Rashid, you obviously think these people are just baying for blood when it comes to like the opposition team, right?
Say that again.
You just think like the average person is baying for blood when it comes to like the opposition team, India, Pakistan.
No, I mean, among the players, there's so much respect and there's genuine brotherhood between a lot of the players, between both sides of the players, between India and Pakistan. It's just that things, especially in terms of the Indian media, how they are. Come on, you had an Indian media channel.
Indian media, but again, it's all pro-government, isn't it?
Let me finish before you keep jumping in.
Sorry.
You had a particular Indian media channel that actually put out such nonsense saying that the only reason India actually lost and Pakistan won was because people from Pakistan had put some sort of black magic on the Indian cricket team.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, but it's like conspiracy.
It's Pogba all over again, isn't it?
I mean, India lost to South Africa, so Pakistan doesn't get through and all that.
I think that was true. No, I think that was
Look,
true.
I'll give you an example. My cousin who's here from Pakistan, who's flying back tonight. When India were in the semi-finals during this week and stuff, and I said, I hope England beat India. And Pakistan, I can't take a Pakistan-India final. I said it would just be, lose to anyone but to India.
It'd be too much.
Typical, yeah, just a typical thought of it. And he was like, no, I'd rather India go to the final and play it. I said, he goes, they're our neighbours. So their thoughts, it's completely different for the people that are there and then how it's perceived.
I think that might be isolated. Because pretty much everyone I've spoken to has said what you've said. I think your cousin's a funny one.
He's like, no, he's our neighbours. Let him come.
he's a funny one. You need to have a word with him and say what's wrong with you. Rashid, would you rather have Pakistan played England in the final or India?
India.
You'd rather that Pakistan
so
play
isolated,
India?
Did you say isolated?
Yeah. I'd rather India because I put everything aside, right? The game is so much better because you'd have more people viewing it, right? You'd have at least.
I don't care about that.
Sporting viewpoint.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
In terms of the viewers, to the stress, the pressure, just the history, everything behind it, just elevates it to another level.
I just think there was plenty of people in Australia who were hoping that Pakistan were going to smash England, and they were mostly Australians. We're going to go to a break now. We're just going to go to a break, guys. We'll be back in about 4 minutes, so join us again then. Assalamu alaikum.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
Could you spare a few hours each month to provide support to people who are going through tough times? If so, Peterborough Samaritans are looking for volunteers who are empathetic and open-minded, and we'd love to hear from you. We run regular information sessions where you can find out more about what it means to volunteer for Samaritans. If you are at least 18 years of age and would like to know more, please email volunteer@peterboroughsamaritans.org.
Asia Restaurant gives you the unique fusion of flavours from Turkey, Iraq, Syria and Iran. Our shish kebabs are grilled on a charcoal barbecue for that authentic taste. Lamb shanks, fresh shawarma, chili kebab, lamb shish, grilled chicken, freshly made baklava and so much more. Eat in or order through Peterborough Eats or Peterborough Grab. Asia Restaurant, 5 Fitzwilliam Street, Peterborough, PE1 2RU. Call us on 01733 562 530. Great prices, great quality. Why not come and find out for yourself? Asia Restaurant, the true taste of the Middle East.
Are you looking for a career where you can make a difference? At Cross Keys Homes, we work with our local communities to create opportunities that change lives. We're looking for enthusiastic, talented people to join our team, from apprenticeships to senior management positions. Cross Keys Homes can support your development while you enjoy great employee benefits. There are so many opportunities for you to shine. Apply to join the Cross Keys Homes team at crosskeyshomes.co.uk.
HS Lawyers make it so simple. Contact Majid Sarwar or Asad Arif today for any matters relating to immigration, family, business or property. Google HS Lawyers to see why we're the highest reviewed firm in Peterborough, with over 500 testimonies on our honesty, speed and excellent communication, making your legal matter simple, easy and stress-free. Contact us today on 01733 703 978. That's 01733 703 978, or email us at peterborough@hs-lawyers.co.uk. HS Lawyers, built on values of integrity and respect, with offices in Peterborough and throughout the West Midlands.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salaam Radio.
So we were in the studio just talking about how much pitch time Sadat got playing for the Vets on Friday, and Sadat reckons you got 15 minutes.
Not even that. Not even that. And don't even get me started. When we started off with only 12 players.
All I know is you were on the pitch, and I shouted at the ref, and I says, "Ref, what did you say? How many minutes?" And he goes, 25, and you'd been on the pitch for at least 3 minutes.
No way. When you shouted him, I was doing the warm-up.
No, you weren't doing the warm-up. Yeah, Rashid, you've managed players, prima donnas in the past, haven't you?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so, and when you want them to get ready to go onto the pitch, you ask them to warm up, don't you?
Yeah.
And if they do a half-hearted warm-up, then you're not really going to put them on. They need to at least have a few touches, a couple of sprints, a little bit of shuttles.
It's a Vets game.
Agility.
Let's get. We had 12 players at the start. It was a Vets game. Had 2 players there who had hamstring injuries and didn't really want to be on there, who started the game. And then you don't put a sub. Oh no, sorry. The manager then subs himself, who's not played for God knows how many years, to get on the pitch before your hand. I don't think you're going to find me in a very good mood to be eager to come on.
I don't care about your mood. I care about your actions.
Disrespectful.
What are your thoughts, Rashid? What are your thoughts? Like, can you?
Ronaldo would have been treated like that.
If you don't warm up effectively, it's very likely you're going to get injured, and it just makes it worse.
Injured.
So, is it you really got to stick to that? You can't turn around and say, "I'm just going to just do a little jog for 10 seconds or 30 seconds," but I'm going on. You're not sufficiently warmed up.
No, but this is even deeper than that, Rashid. What we're talking about here is disrespectful body language. That's what it was. He's annoyed. He's annoyed that he didn't get on, right? He's annoyed that he didn't get on, which is fair enough. It's not my fault.
No,
I wasn't managing. He's annoyed he's not been put on or put on earlier. When I'm about to make the change and put him on, I say, have a little bit of a jog. And it's because there was a few lads there, and they're like, yeah, don't put him on, it's funny. And then, so Sadat got like all paranoid. And then he was like, I'm not even going to do like a full-hearted, a proper full-hearted warm-up. So he was just like, did a little scroll.
What warm-up did the coach do before he went on the pitch? What warm-up did
I put him on?
I'm not. Did I say you put him on?
So I don't expect that. I expect that from a substitute that's about to come on. There's certain things I expect. And you're right. The coach did zero warm-up. His warm-up was he took his coat off.
Who came half an hour late, injured.
Who was that?
Still came. Oh, I'm not mentioning names. But let's just say a player came late. He didn't want to play. And the coach made him. It wasn't his fault.
Athlon.
Yeah. Didn't want to play. He didn't want to play because he had tight hamstring.
So, yeah.
And he gets on. And he didn't do no warm-up.
I think he needs to write a letter.
I did to the welfare officer.
Yeah, I
he
think
didn't respond
to the welfare officer. Yeah. So just if you're late joining us, the FC Peterborough Vets had a game on Friday night, and Sadat didn't start, and that's why he's upset.
So what was the score?
We lost 8-0.
I thought it was 9.
I think it was 8.
I think it was 9.
But just for the record, you were on the pitch for 20 minutes, yeah?
No.
15. How many goals did they score in that 15-minute period?
They'd already scored about 7 when I was
No.
Yes. There's no way.
They were 3-0 up when you went on.
4-0 at least.
Guaranteed 3-0. 100% 3-0.
No way.
And yeah, did it finish 9 or 10? 11.
Was I in defence?
I don't know. I don't know where you were. No. Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know where you were.
Who created the chances when I came on? Who created the chances?
When
I came on.
Their number 7 created quite a few chances, to be fair.
No.
Their number 7 scored about 3, created 3.
I'm talking about for our team.
Oh, for our team, no one.
No point.
Literally no one.
We didn't create a chance.
I don't think we did. Did we create a chance?
See, this is what I mean.
Did we create a chance?
Your vision is so narrow. You first got the time wrong, and you're completely forgetting the chances that were created for Ricardo,
Rashid,
and for cash.
when's Man United? When Man United kicking off?
4:30, isn't it?
Rashid?
He's gone. You're kicking off. He's saying, I'm going.
Rashid's had enough.
Yeah, United kick off at 4:30.
4:30. And what's the latest on Brighton Aston Villa?
It's 2-1 to Villa. However, there's been a huge VAR decision. I don't think it's the wrong decision. Brighton should have had a pen. Digne tried to clear the ball in his own 18-yard box, and the player got there quicker than him, nudged the ball, and then Digne kicked him. But because the ball actually, when the Brighton player nudged the ball, it bounced off Digne, they've said it's not a foul.
Oh, VAR got it wrong.
Oh, so he went for clearance, but the guy shifted the ball.
Yeah, that's two different things. Is VAR got it wrong, or is it because the rules are not just good? Needs to be changed.
Yeah, I got that wrong.
Have they gone by the law?
Well, let us know. Yeah, keep an eye on that and let us know what the final decision on that is.
Because I can't believe VAR getting it wrong.
No, they haven't given it. They haven't given it. They said no pen. And it's a shocking decision.
Oh, dear, oh dear.
Yeah, so if it's clear and obvious error, then VAR would have directed him, wouldn't they, to the screen? So clearly it wasn't an error.
Clearly it was. Well, clearly they didn't think it was a clear and obvious error. Sorry, say that again, Rashid?
I'm saying it depends on who's on Stockley Park and if they're having their afternoon nap or not.
Yeah, fair play. Okay, listen, we're going to go on to the England squad selection for the World Cup. That was big news that came out earlier this week. We'll talk a little bit about who's in, who's not in, whether or not Southgate's made the right decision on some of the key choices he's made. Before we do, though, our studio manager today is going to kick us out unless we mention that Floyd Mayweather is fighting today.
Yeah, he's got a beef with KSI's family, isn't he?
How do you know this stuff? How do you know this stuff? Rashid, do you know anything about Floyd Mayweather fighting today?
No, I had no idea he was fighting me. What is it? Another
He's fighting somebody named Deji.
KSI's younger brother.
Deji, who's KSI's younger brother. Do you know these people?
You think he's some YouTuber or something, KSI?
Yeah,
there's
apparently
other social media out there.
So, Mayweather is going to be making $30 million from the fight.
30 million?
And he received $1 million just from taking a call about the fight with Deji. He received $1 million just to answer a phone call talking about a fight that he may or may not have.
I tell my bosses I get underpaid working from answering calls.
I don't need to get a penny for making a call on the show.
Yeah, I'd happily take a call from Deji and tell him, no, I'm not going to fight you for $1 million. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Who would pay them 30 million, though? Seriously, who would pay them 30 million?
See, this is a thing, Rashid, this internet thing, yeah? This new invention called the internet.
It's gone wild.
Lots of people are on it. and they'll pay, like, I don't know, if you got 100 million worldwide watching, and they pay like £3 each, that's 300 million. The costs of actually hosting it, the server cost, the bandwidth, all that kind of stuff. Well, I don't know how it works. Subscribers tracking, I don't know, antivirus, what's involved? I don't know what's involved. I'm just checking out names of things that I've heard that are, barely IT related.
I get Mayflower fighting like a former champion or someone who's actually been a proper.
Who's Mayflower?
Right?
Mayfair,
he said. Even if you fought Golovkin, Amir Khan, right, you can understand 30 million over it. But you're fighting some YouTuber's younger brother or someone like that. What, I mean, seriously, that's a nobody you're fighting.
Absolute nobody you're fighting. You're going to keep your record intact, and you're going to make a lot of money. A lot of money. So,
I mean, fair play to him. He's making as much money as he wants. But it's just such a thing. It's just superficial nonsense.
I completely agree.
Besa bolta.
Bolta. Listen, let's move away from pointless sports commentary that we have to do to keep Ali happy. You happy now, Ali?
Yeah.
Give me a thumbs up if you're happy. Yeah, your thumbs up. Yeah, he's happy. Now he wants me to talk about Darwin Núñez. 2 goals. What a striker. Repaid that price tag. That guy, sensational. Mane who? Who misses Mane, bro? We are back. And we are back with a vengeance. Said no Liverpool fan ever. Fair play? He scored 2 goals.
I think you find that the man of the match was the Liverpool goalkeeper.
Yeah, played sensationally. Yeah, made some really good saves. Mm-hmm. Speaking of man of the match being the goalkeeper, how good was Edison against Brighton to keep it just at 2-1?
Brentford. Yeah. He made some great saves as well.
Sensational. Did you see that game, Rashid? City Brentford.
Yeah, City Brentford, that was brilliant game. I was hilarious.
16 straight wins at home. Who'd have thought the wheels would have come off against ex-posh striker Ivan
Yeah.
Toney and his mates from Brentford?
Didn't even
Like,
make the
this
England
just
squad, did he?
Didn't even make the England squad, and that's what I want to talk about. Thoughts on that? I mean, who are the strikers? Who are the
Kane's,
chosen
you know.
strikers? Kane's obviously the striker.
Yeah. You've got to have a list out here.
They've
Come
got
on, you should have a
Callum.
list
They
out.
got Callum Wilson. So they got Kane, Wilson. Who else?
I mean, obviously he's injured though. Calvert-Lewin's injured, but I think with Ivan Toney, he should be, in my opinion, he should be ahead of Callum Wilson.
Rashford.
But I think
Or is he going as a winger?
I think Rashford's going as a winger.
Okay.
Tony's been investigated for some by the FA for over something to do with betting or something like that. And
Really?
also,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
Yeah, he's been currently being investigated. Yeah, for betting.
So is that what Southgate said? Because you're under investigation, I'm going to treat you like you're guilty and not even risk potentially.
There's that, and there's also another thing. Ivan Toney is known to be a bit of a, he fancies something. He's got a bit of an ego about himself. He can be a bit, very flippant and a bit
Big
arrogant.
players have egos. I'm not saying he's a big player, but
But apparently, even though Callum Wilson's very injury prone.
Yeah.
I think he's more, he'll be like yes or no to three back also.
But
something in the club type of person.
So I'm just thinking, World Cup quarterfinal. If we get there, quarterfinal, Kane gets injured in the 15th minute. Right, we've got 75 minutes of the game to see through. Do you bring on Wilson? I don't think you do. I think he'd go with like a Rashford,
But he'll put Rashford
Foden,
up front, yeah.
Grealish. Yeah, he'll probably do like some kind of. So he's not taking two strikers. He's taking one striker, and he's taking other players that could potentially play there. And I don't think that's wise. Like I always think, you should have a specialist in their position. Ivan Toney's never going to be playing off the left, never going to be playing as a wide midfielder. He's a striker. He's a target man. And you saw like yesterday what he could do. He absolutely destroyed City. He could have had. So
who does he replace? Who do you take out?
I think we're carrying too many attacking midfielders.
So who do you take out?
Mason Mount. Take him out.
Take Mason Mount.
Take Mason Mount.
Why
out.
not Henderson?
Henderson's defensive centre midfielder.
He's rubbish.
All right, take Henderson out. Take him out.
No, I
think Toney needs to be there.
I'd leave Grealish.
Grealish, yeah, take Grealish out.
He's not done enough, is he?
Grealish for the last 18 months has been absolute pants.
I think Mason
He's
Mount's
not had a chance though. In
I
the
think
last 18
Mason.
months.
I think Mason Mount's played as well as he's ever going to play, and he's still not good enough. I don't think Mason Mount can get better than he is now. I think Mason Mount's had a purple patch of about 15 to 18
Maddison's
months.
through as well, isn't he?
Madison's in. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Madison's made it. Madison.
I think the Mount thing is because he's versatile. You can play him in a variety of midfield positions, and he works hard. So Southgate's always going to take someone like Mount who can score a goal, play off the left, play off the right, play off as an 8 and as a 10. So Southgate,
All right, do me a favour right now. Sadat, Rasha, do me a favour. Close your eyes.
No.
Just close your eyes. Just close
Don't
your eyes.
trust you.
Right, and now see how hard it is to imagine Mason Mount scoring a goal in the World Cup. You can't even fathom it. It's like trying to imagine Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lifting the Premier League trophy with Man United. I
like
told
saying
you it
you
was going to
can't-
happen. I told you for 4 years it was going
It's
to
like
happen.
saying you can't win the Premier League with young lads.
Who would you have taken, Ward-Prowse or Calvin Phillips right now?
Ward-Prowse.
Prowse.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah, Ward-Prowse. Definitely Ward-Prowse. I think Ward-Prowse gives us... Look, chances are neither of them are going to play, right? But if they do, Ward-Prowse puts in a fantastic ball. And if we've got
Kane
people
at
like
the end.
Maguire and Kane are going to win more headers than they lose, right? Put in a ball from Ward-Prowse, we'll get goals.
Maguire, should he be going?
Should he be going? Yeah, who you got, realistically? You take Gomez instead?
I agree. Tony should be getting, because both Tony and Ward-Prowse are fantastic penalty takers.
Yeah, excellent shout. I agree with that.
If it goes down to penalty, it doesn't matter who's taking it. If England's in there, they're not going to win on
I mean,
penalties.
who do we think is the starting 11 then?
I would say 4-3-3, and I would probably. You'd probably have to.
It's Pickford, Pope, and Ramsdale, isn't it?
But you'd
Pickford's
think
number
you'd
one,
have
isn't
to go- I personally would go with Trent as right back. I'd have Luke Shaw as left back, and then you'd have probably go with Maguire and Stones. You'd have Pickford in goal, and then you have Rice, Bellingham, I would then either go with either Foden or Maddison in that number 10 position.
Foden in the middle.
Either Foden or Foden or Maddison in the number 10. Flick of a coin between those two, and then it'd be Kane up
Maddison.
top with Saka off the right and Rashford off the left.
Okay, so if you had Maddison number 10, you'd pick Rashford over Foden.
Yes. Kane.
Wow.
You need to stretch the team because Kane drops off.
Big call.
Kane is slow, and Rashford scores goals off the left.
Did
right?
Sterling make it to the squad?
Sterling's in the squad, yeah. Sterling's in the squad, yeah. So you got Saka. So you think Saka and Rashford both start ahead of Sterling, and both start ahead of Foden if you choose Maddison number 10. You don't know what he's talking about.
I'll put Sterling ahead. I know I'll put Sterling ahead of Saka.
Sterling ahead of Saka.
Yeah.
I think Saka's he's earned it this season. He's earned it. But who would you? I mean, would you go Rice and Bellingham as well, or would you go Hendo or Phillips?
Phillips
or Mount.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh, hang on. There was Mount, wasn't there?
You'd go Mount.
Oh, Maddison.
Madison's number 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd go Maddison number 10, not Foden.
No, I'm a Maddison fan.
Right. So you're a Maddison fan.
Yeah. He's
and
done
then
really well.
you'd go Rashford ahead of Foden as well off the left.
Yeah, at the moment, Rashford. I think he seems to be
Saka
peaking
ahead
at
of
the right time.
Sterling. Close one.
That's a close one.
That is a close one. I'll give you that. It's a close one. Sterling's done enough in an England shirt in previous tournaments.
I think with the experience.
And Saka is still young and he's got plenty of time ahead of him. So yeah, you wouldn't go Trent.
Saka would be a good impact substitution.
Do you know that our first 3 games are against Iran, USA, and Wales? So you can
What
be
difficult games.
So yeah, let's put Trent right back.
Yeah, I'd have Trent right back against Iran. Why? Are you telling me that Iranians got some amazing left-sided player that will skin Trent silly?
I don't know enough about the Iranian national team to be honest.
The left side back of Iran is very fast.
Maguire and Stones, is that who
They're slow.
you'd agree with that as well?
Slow, isn't they? Stones is not the quickest, and annoys Maguire.
Yeah, would you?
Personally, I would have gone. Personally, I can't understand why Tomori's not in the squad, but maybe Southgate doesn't rate Serie A.
No, Southgate probably just doesn't watch enough of it. Tomori's done everything he needed to do to get to that team.
I asked him, he said, tomorrow who?
Yeah, I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Trippier is in the squad, yeah?
Yep, Trippier's in the squad.
Trippier, and you'd start Trent ahead of
He's
Trippier.
doing well.
You'd start Trent.
Trippier.
So that,
No,
Trippier ahead of
sorry,
Trent.
if you ask me, yeah, Trippier.
Now, Rashid says he's going to go Trent. I agree with
Trippier.
Rashid. I think Trent's the best right back in history.
I think Trippier's been excellent for Newcastle.
Genuinely, I think he's the best right back in history. Listen, it's coming at a funny time, isn't it? Is it the 20th of November is the first? So this time next
This is
week.
last weekend, yeah.
This time next week will be the first game. Is it Qatar versus Ecuador?
Big game.
Big game, big game. Big game in the sense that you're going to have the opening
Host.
ceremony.
Yeah.
We all know the first 11 back off Qatar, don't we?
Yeah,
Yes.
completely off by heart. It's
Mohamed
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 Al-Sharawi, yeah.
Mohamed
Al-Shawarma.
Al
Can we get away with being racist? Because I know we're Muslim, but we're not Arab, right? So that might sound a little bit racist. I think we need to be careful with what we say. But I guess what I was going to say was it gives a really good opportunity for teams to reevaluate where they are in the season, give some of the players maybe some rest.
It put players out
potentially.
on the window as well for shopping.
Shopping,
so
yeah,
if
shopping
there
window.
are people out there who are really good, you don't like even a Qatar player. You never know, and you're not seeing anything. Hang on, what's going on here?
So the January transfer window could
Yeah,
potentially
or the
be
left side of Iran.
really
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
How
many buys have gone on the back?
Mo Salah's not going to the World Cup, and that for me is a massive positive. But then Man City have Haaland, who's not going to the World Cup.
Yeah, but you also have Firmino, you don't have Jota and Thiago. All of those 4 players aren't going to the World Cup.
Yeah,
So it's more
so I
difficult
think
to
for
manage
Liverpool,
players
that's
who's
a-
not going, or more difficult to manage players who are going when they come back.
So Milner said in his interview yesterday, he was saying it's four or 5 weeks of downtime, no competitive matches now, because obviously he's not going to the World Cup. But he said there's a fine line between resting and recovering and keeping yourself fit. Because what you don't want, because this is what happens, have you noticed, like games in August versus games in October, the intensity is completely different. And you don't want to come back from a World Cup, go back to a game after a World Cup and your intensity's dropped again. You don't want to give that to, give that advantage to the opposition. So it's going to be a really interesting time. We've never seen this before, like a mid-season break. I know they have it in like Bundesliga and so on. They have that Christmas breaks and stuff, Serie A as well.
But if England don't qualify, you get more players have a break to the next round.
Yeah. So if that happens, they'll have more of a break. But what I'm saying is the challenge is going to be how you keep players at optimum fitness, whether they're at the World Cup or not. How do you do that? And that's going to be an interesting one. I think we could potentially. I mean, we saw a few injuries this weekend. Who was it?
They still have training sessions, will they? Coach
who was it walked off? Russia. Remind me, who got injured just yesterday?
No, it was Madison, but
It was a precautionary, Madison.
Madison was precautionary, but there was another one.
Leg injury.
Not English, non-English player. Can't remember. It might come to me. But yeah, so I guess the intensity levels have dropped a little bit because people don't want to be injured. And then when they come back from the World Cup, it's going to be interesting to see how players who've played in the World Cup compared to players who didn't play in the World Cup.
Or players who played in the Premier League or Serie A or were at La Liga who were playing the World Cup. How do they actually play in the World Cup itself? They might be more relaxed or might be saying, hang on,
Oh, we've got a league to get back to.
Yeah, got a league back to get
back to. I really don't know how I feel about it. I mean, it might just be, this might be the first of many, World Cups that end up mid-season. I hope it's not. I hope it's the first and last. I genuinely...
Southgate said he can't see it happening again.
Okay.
So...
Because it makes me feel like, like when you get jet lag, I feel like I've got jet lag for the season because the World Cup is coming at the wrong time. It should be in the summer. And it felt like we had nothing to do this summer, right? It felt like there was not...
we said this last week.
Not anything going on. So, we need to just see how that pans out. Who are you looking forward to seeing most in the World Cup? England, obviously, but
England,
beyond that.
England, no.
Don't fancy Brazil at all?
Brazil.
Who's got the group of death? Which one's the most difficult group? Is it Portugal?
I've not got my Panini sticker chart.
I need to get my chart as well.
I need to get my chart.
Oh no.
Rashid, you've obviously published your chart.
Sorry, say that again?
You've published your chart, haven't you? You've published your chart.
Yep. Yeah, got World Cup chart up.
Who have you got winning?
Are we doing a World Cup? Are we doing like a World Cup preview show next week?
We are definitely doing a World Cup preview show next week, and we might do a regular show throughout the World Cup, maybe half hour. We're still thinking about that. Need to get the logistics in. But who have you got winning it? He's not with us today, is he?
Yeah, I know. We're keeping you from something, Rashid.
Yeah.
No, I just...
Because you're not going to give 100% commitment to the show, mate.
If you're having a lunch, just say you're having a lunch.
Just hang him up, It's like not warming up, then going onto the ground.
Your line's pretty bad. I keep cutting
Oh, here we go. Exactly. It's a good old excuse.
Ali, you need to sort this line out. Rashid can't hear me when I'm asking him who he thinks is going to win the World Cup.
Oh, I think Brazil's going to win the World Cup. I had France until Varane, Pogba and Kante got injured.
Yeah.
So for me, it's Brazil. Brazil has just got an absolute amazing squad.
Well, what about Spain? Past it, completely done?
Other than the midfield of Rodri, Xavi, and Pedri, the entire team is rubbish. That midfield,
did the Dutch make it?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The others are just rubbish.
Yeah. What did you think of David De Gea's exclusion?
Exclusion?
Yeah, he's not in the squad, is he?
No, he's not in the squad, but neither is Thiago.
No, I know, but I'm saying, what do you think about David De Gea's exclusion?
I think it's ridiculous. Because look, Luis Enrique wants to play, in terms of passing the ball out of defence and all the rest of it. He wants his goalkeeper that can, is really good in terms of kicking the ball and all the rest of it. That's not De Gea's strength. De Gea's strength is he's a superb shot stopper.
Should De Gea just do substitute for penalties?
Yeah, I just think with his experience and the fact that he's been at a massive club for so many years and been one of your key players, that's the kind of experience you want in the dressing room. He's got a lot of respect from his fellow professionals. And, I mean, who's he got? The three keepers he's got? He's got a keeper from the Premier League. Who does that guy play for?
He's gone from Brentford.
Brentford keeper, there you go. Yeah.
Who's
decent?
The one from Sanchez from Brighton, and then I think he's got Unai Simon, and he plays for Bilbao or somewhere. He plays in Spain. He's basically neither Kepa or De Gea are going.
Yeah.
And he's left that for some reason. He's left at Thiago Alcantara.
Kepa's not had a great season, has he?
Yeah, who hasn't?
Kepa,
yeah, Kepa's.
He's not number one.
Like Thiago, do you know what Thiago? I think it's
Thiago. Why would you go Thiago?
I think they've got such a strength in depth in that part of the pitch that you drop Thiago, you don't lose anything.
With Xavi and Pedri, right? They're both kids, okay. And if things go wrong, or
You can't win anything with kids.
or they can't do any, they lose their heads or whatever, you need someone you can bring on. Imagine having a base of Rodri and Thiago next to him.
Yeah. No, I agree, mate. If I was selecting the Spanish side, I definitely would have dropped him as well and let him rest a little bit ahead of the busy Christmas period for Liverpool. It's definitely, I mean, it bodes well for Liverpool. I don't care if, I definitely want England to do well. And if Liverpool had England players who could help England, I absolutely wanted Trent in the England squad. And he's in, and that's brilliant. And I hope he gets to play and contribute. But am I too fussed that Firmino didn't get into the Brazil squad? No, not at all. Give him a rest. That's fine. It's absolutely fine. Thiago gets a rest as well. Thiago's going to be a big player for us in the second half of the season. So who knows? Who are you most looking forward to? Who do you think is going to win? Do you agree? Brazil?
I am Brazil. I was going to say, I was trying to think of who had Spain up there. I mean,
Croatia?
I think no
chance.
I think they're the sort of a bit of a South, not that bottlers. Sorry, if they get to the quarterfinals, maybe that's probably their best achievement. Quarterfinals, semi-finals, if that.
I think Portugal could have a good tournament.
Portugal, I think, is similar. Quarterfinals, semi-finals. I think
They've got João Felix, Rafael Leao, Ronaldo up front. They could play Bruno, the one at City, Bernardo. And
yeah. And on that, I think it's worth just reminding ourselves that this is going to be the last World Cup where we get to see Messi and Ronaldo. Which is it?
I don't know. Ronaldo keeps himself.
No. It's going to be the last one, unless FIFA do something, we get another one next year, January or something. Rasha, thank you so much for joining. Sadat, thank you for joining in. Thank you to all of our listeners and to everyone following us on Facebook. It's been a pleasure, and we will be back again next week, same time, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and we'll be talking about the World Cup. Assalamu alaikum.